In this video, we discuss the political changes in Vietnam following the end of the reform era. Launched in December 1986, this era, known as Doi Moi, concluded in August 2024. The country is now transitioning into a new phase marked by a series of political upheavals. Last spring, Vietnam experienced what has been termed a political earthquake. This was further catalyzed by the death of Communist Party of Vietnam General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong in July 2024. Trong had been unwell since early 2024, creating a power vacuum at the top of the party state. In March 2024, President Vo Van Thuong, a protege of Trong, resigned due to involvement in a corruption case dating back over a decade. Following this, in early May, National Assembly Chair Vuong Dinh Hue, seen as a front-runner to succeed Trong, also stepped down under similar circumstances. 2 weeks later, Truong Thi Mai, the CPV Executive Secretary, resigned during an extraordinary plenum of the CPV Central Committee. This meeting nominated Public Security Minister Tu Lam as Vietnam's new president. The major candidates for the top position in the party included these four individuals and Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh. After Trong's passing, the CPV had limited options, ultimately electing Lam as the new party chief. Just 10 days after taking office in August, Lam declared the start of a new era, which he described as the rise of the Vietnamese nation. With remarkable speed, several political decisions began to take shape. Many of these decisions had been discussed for years but lacked political will for implementation. In November 2024, the National Assembly approved a controversial high-speed rail project initially rejected in 2010. This mega project is expected to cost around $67 billion and generate substantial revenue from land sales along the railway. Additionally, the National Assembly resumed plans for two nuclear power plants that were halted in 2016 after the Fukushima disaster. These infrastructure and energy initiatives are part of a broader strategy. Earlier in November, Prime Minister Chin pledged to achieve double-digit annual GDP growth in the coming decades. Recently, the CPV Central Committee enshrined this ambitious goal as a key objective for the years 2026 to 2030. The government revised the growth target for 2025 from 6.5 to 8%, a notable shift in ambition. Historically, Vietnam's economic policies focused on macroeconomic stability rather than rapid growth. The highest recorded GDP growth was 9.5% in 1995, with an average of 6.5% during the reform era from 1987 to 2024. The new leadership understands that achieving double-digit growth requires a technology-driven economy and effective public administration. In November 2024, the government initiated restructuring of the party state bureaucracy, aiming to eliminate at least 1 in 5 existing government positions to enhance efficiency. This plan was endorsed by the January 2025 CPV Central Committee plenum, marking the most extensive government restructuring in decades. In December 2024, the CPV Politburo passed Resolution No. 57, focusing on advancing science, technology, innovation, and digital transformation. For years, Vietnamese leaders have brought into light the importance of science and technology for economic development, but previous commitments had been largely ineffective. Resolution 57 aims to remove barriers, hindering economic development, and transform the institutional framework into a competitive advantage for encouraging innovation. It also stipulates that at least 3% of government expenditures be allocated to these areas. In his closing remarks at the January 2025 CPV plenum, Lam noted that the steering committee he chaired had identified urgent tasks for the government in 2025. However, the changes in domestic politics have not yet led to shift in foreign policy. After becoming CPV chief, Lam visited France and Malaysia, elevating these nations to comprehensive strategic partner status. This aligns with Vietnam's long-standing multi-directional foreign policy. However, Vietnam has refrained from becoming a BRICS partner country, reflecting concerns about Washington's stance on this grouping. Vietnam's ambition to become a high-tech hub in global supply chains relies heavily on its relations with the United States. The internal power dynamics are shifting, but the true test will come at the 14th CPV Congress in January 2026. The global supply chain's China-centric configuration has hindered Vietnam's technological progress. It remains uncertain whether the ongoing shifts in global supply chains due to the US-China rivalry will benefit Vietnam's technological advancement. These factors will play an important role in determining the success of Vietnam's rise.